Welcome back, kiddies, to another episode of RatG TV with your hosts, Zeus and the Wellandwingnut. And they thought I was the crazy one.
Black magic. You got to know, got to show, it's time to roll. So just tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you want, so just tell me what you want to hear.
Welcome back to another edition of RatG TV, and it's your boy Zeus, and kicking it old school is the Wellandwingnut himself.
So today I'm actually on location at my house. So
Right. We see the green screen, but it's being repped by our OG pull-up stand, courtesy of Alfonso Espinosa over at Studio Comics. Where are they located?
Google.
Yeah, Google. Studio Comics. You won't go wrong though. Great guy though. Great people. They're past the GTA, I want to say. But welcome as I take a sip of my Tangerang, kicking it old school. Speaking of old school, so Steve, happy birthday, buddy! Welcome to the party.
Yeah, the 47 Club.
The 47 Club, indeed.
How good it is.
Right? I mean, are we the opposite of the 27? I don't know.
Right.
We're not getting dead this year. I'm just saying. That being said, though, welcome to the party, pal. I wish I was there to partake in the smoke there with you. But how's it feel? Do you feel any older?
No, I don't. I don't really feel any older this year. Everything hurt just as much as it did a week ago. So
you've been feeling 47 for a few years now, is what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well,
many hold my beer moments, sports, pick up football and mosh pits. It just ruined me.
Yeah. And
construction.
And the weeds kind of ruined my brain. So I don't know about you. No, it hasn't. We love you. Don't go away, weed. That being said, though, we're thinking about every week we do our rankings basically each week. I was like, you know what? You turning 47, why don't we rank our favorite moments from the last 47 years? And just anything like sports, politics, movies, music, whatever, what have you. Just seminal moments over the last 47 years that stuck out to the two of us. This was actually this was hard though.
Yeah, I had to break out the world books for this one.
Yeah, well, just to see the dates on some of them too. Right. But there was when I did kind of Google, big moments from the last 50 years. It was just easy just to round up like that. There was a lot of stuff on there. Like, oh yeah. So, folks, as per usual, if you have anything that pops in your head that's kind of, something that you've always thought of, that, what's that moment throughout your lifetime, let us know in the comments. It doesn't have to be over the last 47 years. It could be within your
lifetime. Yeah.
It could be less. But let Steve and I know. And, we will share with you ours. Steve, speaking of which, before we get started, anything else happening on your birthday week here?
No, we didn't do much on my birthday. We went and saw Cocaine Bear, but that's still fresh, and I don't want to. I mean, there's not a whole lot of spoilers for that movie, but I still want to give people a week to get in there and get and see it. So we'll review that one next week. I did get a chance to watch M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin, though. All
right, Knock at the Cabin. All right, Dave Bautista and company.
I was going to review The Whale, but then I figured my review would just be me wailing.
Yeah, it broke you, eh?
Yeah, it was a great performance. I definitely think Brendan Fraser deserves an Oscar nod for Best Actor. Do I think it's a Best Picture nomination?
Really, eh?
It was a bad movie. It's hard to have my cake and eat it too, but it was slow. It was a slow burn.
And that's what I was worried about with this movie, that it'd be a slow burn, and when that burn hits, I'm just going to be bawling my eyes out. And you told me you teared up, right?
No, yeah.
Or did you full on cry in this movie?
No, I was pretty teared up a few times.
Yeah, so I would be a mess. There's no way I could watch this movie. Like, movies like that are almost worse for me to watch than horror movies. Hook says, this is our buddy Hookie. He says that 47, you're both babies. I wish that was true, buddy. Remember when you were 47, though? Did you think you were a baby? I was going to put that out there. And I'm shocked, though. You said you watched Cocaine Bear, and it was pretty evident. But, I mean, the biggest spoiler, I think, is that Bert Kreischer isn't in it. I thought it was about him.
But they did drop a Red Band trailer for Bud Kreischer's new movie, The Machine.
Right, The Machine.
It looks entertaining.
Yeah, based on a true story. Well, based on a comedy bit that he said is a true story.
Right.
So,
and Mark Hamill playing the dad.
Right, the coked out dad. Or not on purpose, but anyways, watch the trailer. We're not going to play it because we've been getting way too many warnings.
Yeah, we've been getting dinged.
We've been getting in trouble a lot lately. Happy birthday, Steve, from another Steve. There's our buddy Steve Grows Weed. Go follow him on YouTube and on Instagram. Good guy. I suppose, Steve, you're going to be not you, Steve, but Steve Grows Weed. Our buddy Seamus, that I like to call him. I assume you're going to be at 420 Con. Afro Man's going to be there. Yeah. I'm sure Steve and I are going to be there. So, right on. All right. So, with that going, why don't we get into our top 5 here? I will let you get us started. If you know your list offhand, I can get you going.
Yeah, I just kind of went chronological rather than most memorable because
fair.
Just like you did, looking at the last 50 years is what I searched as well. And there was a lot. And I tried to pick moments that are really etched in my brain. Like, I remember where I was. I remember what happened. So.
For sure. And I was the same way. It's just first thing I went with before the Google was, okay, what pops in my head first? And then I went to the Google. But
one of my earliest childhood memories, like I lived not very, very far from the school at all. It was like literally like a 2-minute walk. So I'd go home at lunch.
Yeah.
Usually I'd catch the end of Batman and the first little bit of the Flintstones and then go back to school. But this particular day, the Challenger was taken off, and it was teacher Krista McCoffey was on board, and unfortunately, all 7 astronauts lost their lives that day. It was I remember sitting there eating my lunch in my dad's chair like I used to, and watching Batman, and obviously, Flintstone was interrupted for the shuttle takeoff, which was still a big thing at the time. And
well, they showed it at school. You were gone, but I was at school, and they showed it, and I was like, wow, like. And then as the picture we showed there, it was so big. This was Punky Brewster at the time, and same as on Punky Brewster, the entire school, they watched it, and that was like, in the States that's a huge deal, but we're Canadian, and that was still a huge deal for us. And I remember what a big deal it was about the teacher being on board, like ahead of time, like all right, we're sending a teacher to outer space. There was a few of our teachers we wanted to send, not you, Mr. Simon. But yeah, that was definitely a rough one. That was one that was burned in my brain as well. Now that's not the only thing. Like, that's not the only one that you and I would have had similar. Your next one I would have had on my list as well.
Yeah, much like I remember where I was when that verdict was read. I remember the chase like it was yesterday. I was at a friend's house. We were in the basement, and all of a sudden, live news coming interrupting, and we were just glued to this thing.
Yeah, I remember being just like, wait, OJ, the Naked Gun guy, the guy that played for the Bills.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like literally shocked, and Remember, all of us were thinking that Al Collins had something to do with it as well because he was driving them around in that way. For the white Ford Bronco, we all know that.
Right.
You say white Ford Bronco, the first thing that anyone that was alive during that era that had any like sense of what was going on at that time, like, you know, older than 8, knew you're talking about OJ. Like, and that was just what an absolutely crazy thing to go through. Yeah, man. What do you got
next one? If you're lucky, if you're a sports fan, you're lucky that you get to feel that feeling one time.
Right.
I know you got it with the Cubs.
Yeah.
And
that took forever, dude. I didn't think that was gonna happen ever.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's and it proves winning President's trophies, winning first overall doesn't mean jack, because they won 4 straight and 4 straight in the first round before they finally won in '97.
Yeah.
So, you know, that compiled that, and at the time it was 42 years. It was the longest streak in the NHL. That feeling, you know, you get as a sports fan, it's
oh yeah,
you can't replicate that.
And who did they beat that year? Who did the Red Wings beat that year?
The first year?
Yeah.
They beat the Flyers 4 straight. And then back to
Lindros Flyers?
What's that?
Lindros's Flyers.
Lindros's Flyers, yeah. And then the next year it was 4 straight against the Capitals.
Yeah. And then Colorado happened.
Yeah.
Right. Changing of the guard.
And then we came back in 2002 with that magic team, like just Robitaille, Hasek, Brett Hull.
Yeah, you're welcome for that one, by the way. I mean, he wasn't the only thing, but he helped.
Yeah, I watched the final game alone by myself because I had been broken so many times years prior. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it in a crowd. And even though, you know, 4 straight, it was a close game. The decider, I think it was 2-1. It was that McCarty breakaway goal.
Yeah. And that was fitting that it was him who scored it.
Right. The grind line.
This one was big.
What's that?
Your next one's big.
Yeah. I didn't go to work that day. I was living in my first apartment with an ex-girlfriend. I had been on my own for a while, but yeah, first time living with someone.
Yep.
And I called in that day and just kind of was lying there, watched TV on the couch, and this come on, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what the heck's going on? And by the time the second plane hit, I called her work, and somebody answered and said, "Yeah, no, we're closing up." And then she worked at the mall. They were closing the bank, and everybody was going down to Radio Shack to watch it. Like, the mall was closed.
Yeah, 9/11. So I remember where I was. You were with your ex. I was with my ex-wife at the time before we were married. And we were in bed, and I was sleeping. Like, we had a late night, and I sleep with back then I used to sleep with the radio on because we only had one TV at the time, right? I sleep with noise. So I had the radio on, and my ex wakes me up and she's like, yo, like, there was just you got to wake up. This big thing just happened. And I'm like, no, I know. And I told her, I'm like, no, I know. I heard the World Trade Center and I was dead asleep. I had no clue, but I must have heard it while I was sleeping. But I remember that moment so clearly, and me just kind of being flippant about it at first until I got my wits about me. And man, that's a moment that everybody will remember.
Yeah,
everybody, even if you weren't alive. Like, my kids know that stuff, you know. So
yeah, it was crazy. Then for my next one, there was something else I was thinking that happened around the same time, but the one I ultimately picked, this was something I was there for. Like, I almost picked the death of Dimebag because I know where I was when I heard that news.
Right.
And for me, that was like, John Lennon's been shot. And yeah, so I almost picked that. But and it's weird how you react to people like that when they die. Like, I remember not listening to nothing but Pantera after Dimebag died, and almost as, comforting. And when Tom Petty died, I couldn't listen to Tom Petty for like a year without just being depressed that he was gone.
Really? Wow.
I couldn't even enjoy listening to Tom Petty. I since started to, but yeah. So yeah, This one I was there though, and I hate to use the hokey, it was electric because it was. And I'm just not thinking about it, but Rock versus Hogan,
WrestleMania 18.
living the childhood dream.
And you were there. This is Toronto, right?
Yeah, 11th row with my buddy Mike Cowell.
Jeez, man, I can't believe I missed that one still.
Yeah, it was something else.
And I feel. Go ahead.
If you watch how they put the highlight package together at the end of WrestleMania, they put like the highlight package together. And they, have their big final shot. If you go back and watch it, was Triple H with the belt because he fought in the main event after Rock and Hogan. Was him dropping to his knees, and we were in the no sign zone. And at the end, I'm like, they can't kick me out now. So I stood on my chair and I held my sign up. And as the camera pans down, as Triple H drops to his knees, you can see Welland 420.
No way.
I have still shots of it. We'll bring it on next week to show everyone.
I wonder if they've taken it off now. I wonder if they've digitally taken that out now in their new videos. Like
oh, maybe, yeah.
Steve Grows Weed says
of it on my phone though.
Steve Grows Weed says, I don't remember the moment, but Dimebag affected me too.
Yeah, my dad was the one that broke the news to me. I was out and about and walked into my parents' house. My dad's like, hey, he's like, someone shot that guy from that band you like. And I was like,
I like every band.
That narrows it down. He's like, no. He's like, that one you really like. I'm like, and my heart sunk. And I was just like, Pantera? He's like, that's the one.
Oh,
and I was just like, oh my God.
And you thought it was Phil right away, didn't you? You did,
didn't you? You know what? No, Damage Plan was on tour. So they had just hit Toronto. I saw them, I think, 3 weeks leading up to it. And who else was it? I saw the last show Run DMC played before he got shot in the studio. I can't remember which one it was.
Not me neither.
Mike McDaniels.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe. And there was someone else too. I was like, Jesus, am I bad luck charm? Oh yeah, Petty. I saw Petty's last tour. Like Toronto was one of the last dates, and then a month later he was dead. And I was just like, what the fuck?
Wow. Yeah, Sam Roberts is still going.
At least you didn't take the easy route and go, I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
Bieber.
Who?
Bieber.
You saw Bieber?
No, I didn't see Bieber.
Well, I'm going by people you've seen.
Yes, no.
If you're the Grim Reaper like you are in our weekly news segment. Well, by the way, if the folks at home are wondering what our photo is behind me, that's Steve right there. And can you guess which one's me? One of these things quite ain't like the other. Yeah. Yeah, what grade is that? That's grade 3 or something?
I'm gonna say 2 or 3.
Is that Mr. Bonus?
I'm not sure.
Hang on. I got the full picture right here. Well, kind of the full picture. So that's grade 1. Oh my God. So grade 1. Who was it? Mr. Bonus was our second grade teacher, wasn't
he? Me? I
don't see the name there though.
I think it's Miss Maine.
I don't remember that name at all. I remember the kids in the class. I see, was that Ken Golden, Rick Goupil. I don't know who, I know the face, but I don't know who it is that's standing right beside you. And that's Barry Morgan beside you, right?
Yeah.
Kenny Noyes, Bronson Shaughnessy, not sure the girl, Lisa Horn. Oh my God, what was that kid's name right beside me? And then, Amy McIntyre, Corey Tessier, Kim Hansen, Amanda Kingston, don't know that girl, Vicky Ecker. Is that Tanya Bass?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know who the redhead is. And Kevin Gale.
Yeah. Is that Kenneth Goulden, the kid at the top on the other side of me?
Yeah, that's what I said. No, Ken Golden's on the other side of Rick, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think that's Kenny Golden right in the Dallas.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't. I remember the kid beside, like between you and Ricky Goupil, but I don't remember his name at all.
Hmm.
But yeah, so I'm surprised I remember any of their names, because I don't remember shit except for stuff like that for some reason. Just so weird. Yeah, it's the weed. It's the weed. So that was your top five. I'm gonna hit my top five here. So there were a lot of moments there throughout these 47 years of ours, and it was tough to kind of nail them down. See you at end. I won't be there, Matthew, but I hope you have a great time, buddy. Well, maybe I'll be there. I don't know though. I do have plans, so we'll see. NWX show tomorrow night, 35 Sea Park Drive, St. Catharines. Go check it out. So starting with my number five, though, like I said, there was a lot of stuff that went on, and this is a really recent one. But I have a feeling I will remember this moment for the rest of my life. And Steve, like, there's just no way to keep my wife's name out your motherfucking mouth. Legit, that will live on forever.
Yeah.
That will live on forever. That will, every time people think of the Oscars from now on, that's the first thing they think of. That will always be the first image. And
the ghost of Marlon Brando is like, yes.
Right. No, because Marlon Brando boycotted them. So
Right.
It's John Wayne that's saying yes.
Yeah,
John Wayne was the one
trying to get up
that
in
after all that. Yeah, because he was the dick afterwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was, to me, that was a good moment. You mentioned this earlier, and you touched on it. There's, in my lifetime, my sports teams have always been shit. They haven't always been shit, but they've never, ever won. And I have not been a lifelong Cubs fan. I started off, like, baseball's been weird for me. I started off as a Pirates fan because we had the Welland Pirates here, and I knew a lot of the Pirates, and I knew a lot of the players that started off in the minors that made it to the actual Pittsburgh team. And I became a Cubs fan because I followed Scott Bullitt over from there. But not only that, I had WGN, so I had all the White Sox games and all the Cubs games. And Harry Carey, next to Rick Jenneret, is the best sports commentator I've ever heard. Funniest, at least. So I became that fan. But they went 108 years without a World Series. And then in 2016, finally. And I know where I was. I was I lived in Port Colborne. I was across the street at my friend's house, who my daughter babysat for her all the time. And we were watching the game together. And every time I see her now, she always says, "Remember that time when the Cubs won the World Series and you had a tear coming down your eye?" Like, yeah, that's why we've never had a relationship, eh? Someone will outdo the Oscars moment. That will now be the thing to do. I hope not. I really hope not. And go give the Angler Files a follow, especially if you're a fan of fishing. It's, one of our buddies over there, a couple of our buddies over there. Yeah, so the Cubbies was a big one for me. Now, my number 3 moment, this one I had to put on there. And I wasn't sure how I was going to put it, but it was just, you know what? I'm just going to start with the beginning. And that's Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Me as a huge comic book nerd, seeing this movie and then watching the end credit scenes. And Marvel wasn't the first one to do end credit scenes, but to see an end credit scene and see Nick Fury, and then the next movie, we get the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, and at the end of that, Robert Downey Jr.'s in that. And then next thing you know, like, they start building the MCU. To the nerd in me, to the little kid in me that's never grew up, fucking loved it. And that was just like a seminal moment, and it changed the game for comic book nerds. So yeah, hats off to RDJ, Jon Favreau, who directed that movie, Kevin Feige, and that was, I want to say maybe Paramount, because Disney didn't own them yet. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And yeah, I still love them. Like you with what were we talking about earlier? Oh, music. You love all music, basically. You know, there's even the shitty music. You're like, that's all right. I dig it.
If it's got to be, I'll listen to it.
Yeah, and Star Wars, right? That's me with Marvel. I'm like, I can find good in almost everything Marvel. Is everything good from Marvel? No, of course not. But I could always find the good in it.
I started re-binging season 2 of The Mandalorian last night.
Oh, nice. How is it? Yeah, because season 3 starts soon.
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to some more stuff too. I'm hoping we get a second season of Obi-Wan Kenobi, or something within that time frame when that's happening. I just want Darth Maul. I want to see some more live action Darth Maul because we know he's still alive. He doesn't
Solo 2.
Yeah, true.
And it's gained traction ever since it came out. Like,
yeah,
you gotta give it Solo 2.
But Disney's been talking about how they're going to stay away from it, though.
Yeah,
which is kind of sad. I'm not a huge fan of that movie, but I'd be down for. I'd watch it just for Darth Maul. Honestly, I need some more. Give me hope. Give me hope. Is that too much to ask for? I want change. I want change, and I want hope. And when it comes to my number 2. It was all about change. It was all about hope. And I don't care who you are, whether you like this person or you hate this person, whether you love them or you just don't care either way. You have to admit it was a moment that changed the fucking world, especially here in North America. And that was when Barack Obama was elected as the president of the United States. I'm not getting into any political shit with anybody in the comments. You want to get into that shit? Whatever. I don't care. This is the only thing that I'll say political wise. In my entire life, I have never seen a political leader that was more accepted worldwide than Barack Obama. I'm not talking about within his own country. I know it within his own country. There was a lot of dissension and maybe even a little bit here in Canada. But worldwide, that guy fucking had everybody's respect.
Oh, and that's just it. And say people of our age, young people, obviously, not taking away anything from them, but people from our age, like if you had said that there'd be a black president, even 10 to 20 years prior, people would say, right. You're crazy. You're crazy.
Dude, not even 10 years before that, we watched, I'm not sure if it was Dave Chappelle or Chris Rock did their stand-up special, and they're like, I think it was Chris Rock. He's like, sure, I'd want to be a black president, but I don't want to be the first one. You're doing your inauguration speech. My fellow people, you're just trying not to get shot, So, but yeah, to me, he was the difference. Him and Clinton, yes, man. Clinton was another one. Clinton was another Democrat that fucking people just fucking loved, unless you didn't.
Probably the 2 best presidents in our lifetime.
For our money, for our opinion. And if you kind of look at the numbers, kind of looks that way too. There were no recessions with those two, just saying. Anyways, so I will stop the politics right there. I just think it was a big moment to see that. They're still a little ways away before they elect a female president, I think, but steps in the right direction, and he was a change. My number 1 moment, I was shocked, I tell you, that was not on your list. When we were growing up, especially when you and I were growing up in elementary school, this guy was the most influential man in Canada. There was not a person that didn't know his name. There was not a person that did not admire him. There was not a person that was not rooting for him. There's not many today that don't want to see him on the $5 bill. We still do charity races for him each and every year. And of course, I'm talking about the immortal Terry Fox, who tried to cross Canada on his amputated leg for cancer research. And I mean, you want to talk about heart and what it means to be Canadian? Look at this motherfucker right there. That's the guy. That's the guy that makes us more proud than anything else on this entire continent, in this country. Nothing's gonna fill us with such pride as Terry Fox.
Yeah, if you had asked someone outside Canada that question, they'd probably say like Wayne Gretzky. But,
Right.
being Canadian, it would be very, very close.
Yeah. I there's no way I wouldn't even put Gretzky above.
Yeah. Me personally, no, but I still think Gretzky would get a lot of the votes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think he would definitely get a lot of votes too, but I still kind of think that it would be a runaway for Fox. Yeah. I do honestly think he would run away with the kind of the title there. We do the Terry Fox run every year. It doesn't matter whether you were alive at the time or 10 years, 20 years later, you still know the name and you know.
No, we do the run as a family usually because my daughter, obviously she was born with neuroblastoma, so.
So yeah, man. I mean, great charity, great man, and Canadian icon who should be on the $5 bill at the very least. Or you put John Candy on the 5 and you put him on the 10. I don't know if John Candy really deserves to be on the 5.
I mean, he did own the Argos.
Is that a plus?
It was a good era for them.
It really was. That was the only time in the CFL history where the number 1 projected NFL draft pick went to a CFL team instead.
Yeah.
Remember that? Rocket Ishmael.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So that's it. That's our top 5s. What did we list? Did we miss anything from the list? Did you guys want to add something from your own? Please let us know in the comments. We will be happy to share them with the rest of the world. But folks, we also have a lot more show to go on here for you today. We've got Steve's 5-second movie review. Brought to you by the fine folks over at Docnet.ca. Steve's going to be reviewing the fine film Knock at the Cabin. I shouldn't say the fine film because I haven't seen it yet. Right. You know what? It's hard for me though.
Yeah.
Because I've had a hard time.
I think you'd be okay with
M. Night Shyamalan because I find he started off great and his movies have progressively gotten worse.
Yeah, they're very much hit or miss. I'll agree there.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to your review there. Not only that, we do have the news coming up to you later this week in Geek, brought to you by the fine folks at Beer on Wheels with 3 ways to order. You can text them at 289-690-1600, or you can message them on their Facebook page, Beer on Wheels, or go to beeronwheels.ca, serving the greater Niagara area, as in Port Colborne, St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and Niagara-on-the-Lake. So, we'll have all that for you as well. Got our TikTokers of the week. I actually have 2 again for you. Steve says trailer looks creepy as fuck. Which trailer is that? Knock at the Cabin? Yeah, it did. This is the first time I've been excited to actually watch an M. Night Shyamalan movie in a while. Now, before we get to the news and everything, because I do have 2 TikTokers of the week, I am going to start off with our first one now, and then I'll play our other one a little bit afterwards. But here's our first TikToker of the week, and it's a little shout out or a call back to one of the TV shows from our childhood that I think you will remember this PSA.
Dumb.
Stupid.
Crazy. Dangerous.
Stinks.
Letting a friend drink alone is all these things and more. Don't talk yourself out of going out for a few drinks with a friend. You're just overthinking. And why overthink when you can overdrink?
Jack Morris is trash.
Jack Morris is trash. Well done by the TikToker there. Yeah, I like that one, so I figured I'd share that with you guys. And Steve says definitely was Cabin. Knock at the Cabin. Well, I mean, should we pay some bills? Folks, listen. Speaking of paying bills, you need to save some money if you're going to pay some bills. Best way to do that, cut out the big corporations that are charging you way more than you would with a little guy. Do yourself a favor. Cut the cable and go see the fine folks at Docnet. You see them right over there where Steve's pointing, docnet.ca. Tony's going to set you up with some great prices, high-speed internet. That's what we're running on right here today. And Tony is a wizard at getting you all set up. Just hook yourself up with them anywhere in Canada. And let them know that RatG TV sent you. And have Docnet connect you to the world. Boop. Docnet. This is weird. You can't see any of the pictures or any of the comments or anything.
No.
So, yeah. Well, that PSA went different than I remember. Yeah, this was the unedited version. This was that one time when John Singleton stepped in to direct an episode. Rest in peace to the great John Singleton. You know John Singleton, right?
I know the name.
Director of Boys in the Hood.
Okay.
He worked security on the Pee Wee Herman show.
Nice.
Yeah.
So many people came from the Pee Wee Herman show.
Right? Like, for real, though. That should be a show one day.
Right.
We'll discuss all the great people that came from there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? It's that time of the show where Steve gives us his unfiltered review of a certain movie. And this week, as we talked about, you were doing M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong's Knock at the Cabin, starring Dave Bautista and some other fine folk. What can you tell us about this movie before you get into your review here?
Yeah, to not get too spoiler, if you watch the trailer, and this is why I hate trailers, because I remember watching this trailer, and the first 40 seconds, I'm going to say, I was like, man, this looks interesting. I like this. And then for me, they gave away far too much of the plot that I would have liked to have had going into the movie.
Fair.
I don't like it when they do that, but whatever.
My son doesn't watch trailers, and I'm always like, how do you know what you're going to watch? But
yeah, it's tough. I remember showing Amber the trailer, and I stopped it before that moment, so she was a little less in the know, and she really enjoyed the movie.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, that might be a little bit of a spoiler for your review here, but without further ado, buddy, if you're ready, let's get to it. It's time for Steve's 5-second movie review by Steve. We will never replace that song. I'm just saying.
Oh, tough.
Well, we might one day. We're getting old, so we might have to have, dancers come in or something. So, Steve, for those of you, for people that haven't watched this before, we are going to put 5 seconds on the board. And in that 5 seconds, Steve is going to give us his review of the movie, Knock at the Cabin. Steve, are you ready?
All right. So in the past, I've done these reviews, and sometimes I've left 2 or 3 seconds on the clock. Sometimes they're pretty quick. So I'm going to ask for the first time for possibly a grace period, because I've practiced this one, and we're going to see if I can get it under 5 seconds. But
all right, we'll try to give you a long 5 here.
All right.
That was also the name of a porn. All right, here we go. If you're ready, you may begin now. Were you doing Morse code?
I was.
What did you just Morse code me?
It was good.
Oh, thanks. I don't know how I didn't notice that. Did you literally learn Morse code just to say?
I have it right in front of me. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So this is a good M. Night Shyamalan movie for you.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm very hit or miss. Like I didn't like Old. The Visit was good. I didn't like The Happening. Signs, I've always kind of been on the fence about, but I really enjoyed The Village. I know a lot of people hated on The Village.
The
And
other way around.
obviously, Sixth Sense is the one that's really put them on the map. But this one had me. It strung me along almost the entire movie, and
Almost.
did not disappoint. For me, I thought it was really good.
Now, and please don't give it away, but it's an M. Night Shyamalan movie, so
Right.
there has to be a huge twist in this.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna ruin this one for anybody.
But there is a twist. I mean, it's not an M. Night Shyamalan if there's not something. Did you watch? Was it M. Night Shyamalan that did Old?
Yes,
Did you like that one?
I was disappointed with Old.
That's right, because you reviewed it on here.
Yeah, I was
And
disappointed.
That was an older review though.
Yeah.
Older. What are you giving this movie out of 5, buddy? What's Knock at the Cabin get?
I gave it a 4.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Oh wow, really good. So what do you think about Bautista? Is he growing on you as an actor, or do you like him as an actor prior
After the zombie movie, what was that one called?
Army of the Dead?
Army of something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah. After that one, I thought, okay, Dave Bautista needs to be in Dave Bautista roles, and he's pretty good.
yeah. And this is a Dave Bautista.
I know he's been working with acting coaches and stuff like that, and he does show definitely a lot more acting chops than I've seen him attempt.
Okay.
I'm going to leave it up to the viewer to have their own opinion on how they think he's improved as an actor, because he does have a wide majority of the dialogue in the movie. He has a lot of really long speeches, and it was an interesting one.
It seems in the commercials that I've seen, he's very reserved. In every time he speaks in the commercials in the trailer, he's very reserved. He doesn't seem to go big really ever, and that might work for him.
Yeah, he plays a very very passive, very calm type personality. I won't give away much more than that.
Okay.
All the characters do definitely reveal themselves. So
he's El Diablo. Well, that's good. That's a huge one. 4 out of 5 for Knock at the Cabin. So, folks, there you've got it there from the Wellandwingnut. If you're on the fence about it, you best get off the fence and go watch the movie. All right on, man, right on. Well,
next week we'll do Cocaine Bear, not the Bert Kreischer story.
Yeah, it's called The Machine. I don't know why. I would have called it Cocaine Bear.
So have you seen his routine, The Machine?
No. I'm not. I won't say I'm not a huge fan. I'm just. I don't watch. I don't. Yeah. And it's not that I have anything against them, and I've heard some stuff and it's been funny. It's just I don't know.
I really like his first 2 specials. I really enjoyed. His last one was meh.
I feel like I've partied with Bert Kreischer.
We definitely have.
I felt like I didn't like him at parties. I felt like he was that guy that just didn't stop at parties. It was like, all right, okay. It was funny for the first half hour. Now please get really drunk and fall asleep somewhere. And I don't know that that's him. That's just what I get. Watch, maybe one day I'll meet him and him and I will just be like you and I in the 80s, 90s. All right. So with that being said, we talked about it earlier, folks. Listen, I'm having myself a little Sailor Jerry right now. And if I had to drive right now to get some more, because as you can see, it's getting a little low. Well, it's not that low. If it was lower, I would want some more, because you can't just have one. You can, but if you don't feel like having just one, you can't go out and drive, man. Don't do that, especially if you're here in Niagara. If you're anywhere, but if you're here in Niagara, there is a solution for you. You don't have to go out. You don't have to go to Skip the Dishes and pay all those horrible extra fees. Go to Beer on Wheels. There are 3 different ways that you can contact these guys, and they will deliver to you here in Niagara. You can text at 289-690-1600 or on their Facebook page, Beer on Wheels, or online at beeronwheels.ca. If you use the delivery system, please let them know that RatG TV sent you, and just stay home and have fun. That's all. Someone's telling me this was a good drink choice. I just got a text message. I know. Thank you for it, by the way. I don't drink this stuff, but this was a gift. Do you drink Sailor Jerry? Do you know?
I've never tried it. No.
I've had it before. It's not bad. It's a spiced rum. I think this is out of Canada, though, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And if it is Canadian, we're all about that. We're all about that noise. You know what else we're all about? News. Well, there's the best comment of the day. How about pre-rolls? I've got one. It's a broke week, and I was just out of my own weed, but I can't smoke in my house, so this is a blunt. If I can be blunt with you, and yeah, I'm gonna be go hitting that. That is Common Ground Blueberry Muffin. What do you got going today?
I have. This is a Highway Sativa.
Oh, okay. Highway Sativa. Never heard of it. Nice. I'm sure it's great. It's the stuff. Every week we start off the news. We start off with you because you are our Dr. Death. And this week was no different.
No, it rarely is. And, at the very young age of 28, sibling of Hayden Panettiere from Scream and so many other things. Brother Jansen Panettiere passed away. This kid, he was a Disney kid. He was on Blue's Clues. He was also a voice in Ice Age, and he was in How High 2 and an episode of The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So sad. He was how old?
28.
28. I mean, you're 28. 28 was a weird year for me. I remember, like, that was the year I was like, okay, I'm an adult now. And now at 47, I'm like, when am I going to be an adult?
Yeah,
that hasn't happened yet.
We've been in that purgatory stage.
We definitely have. What else you got?
And then this was a big one for me, and I think you too. I think we were both fans. This guy ended up becoming a pretty serious actor, but we both remember him as a comedian.
Yeah, that's where I remember him, and that's what I liked him as.
Yeah, I really liked Richard Belzer. I loved his delivery, his act, and 78 years old. Like I said, Law and Order. But yeah, I'll always remember his stand-up comic days for sure.
But he did become later in life. He did become, or maybe he's always been that way. But the get off my lawn guy. But I did like Belzer. His stand-up was great. He had his own show back in the 80s, early 90s, maybe, and he had Hulk Hogan on once. Do you remember that?
No.
He sued Hulk Hogan.
Okay, I think I do remember this.
Here, check it out. This is a clip from it. We're probably going to get dinged for this too, but it's worth it. Oh, let me get to the actual YouTube page so you can see it play.
It's real. I want you to take a look at this clip and keep in mind this was real. Take a look at it and remember I had no idea what was about to happen. And I'll be right back.
Now, the first thing you need to know about amateur wrestling or professional wrestling or submission holds, you just tell me, brother, when you want him to quit squealing, okay?
All right. This is because you said it was fake.
Shin lock. How about it, T?
Keep him like that for a little while.
Now check out the floor.
He's all right. He's just sleeping. He's sleeping.
When he gets up, check out the floor.
I was a sleeper hole. He'll be all right. He's waking up now.
You can see there's actual blood. Look at the blood on the floor behind him and on his jacket.
And now, we'll be right back after this word from you-know-who.
Look at the blood on the back of his jacket there. So
yeah,
I mean,
I remembered it as soon as you started to play it.
To tell you the truth, I had always heard the story. I'd never seen the video until today. Yeah, that was insane, man. I didn't know him past the Hogan controversy. Yeah, well, like Steve said, he was big on Law and Order. Him and Ice-T were good buddies, which is kind of strange too, because I think he's anti-weed. But yeah, you know, we talked about these deaths this week. You know, something that just won't die, and I'm not saying I want it to die at all either. That's Warren Beatty and Dick Tracy and the rights of it. Warren Beatty keeping true to form every year for the last, I don't know how many years. He puts out a 30-minute special where he plays Dick Tracy, and he doesn't do anything. He's just there with Leonard Maltin and Emmanuel Lubezki, who's a cinematographer, and they just bitch about the rights of Dick Tracy. And I don't know the full story. I know he got screwed over originally, but as long as he makes a movie every year, he gets to retain the rights.
Right.
And,
yeah, they wanted to move forward, but without him, they even tried to do a TV show that he got lawyers involved with and had stopped. And then, basically started doing this.
Is he right though? Like if they screwed him over, because I know you. No offense, I know you though. And if someone screwed you over, I could see you doing the Warren Beatty thing. You were the guy that did the hat strike. You did the hat strike at school.
Yeah.
You did a strike at school because they told us we weren't allowed to wear hats.
Yeah.
So,
I told Amber last night when I saw this story, I said that basically, yeah, I'm not a huge Dick Tracy fan. I'm not a huge fan of his, but I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I thought it was awesome too. I highly applaud him for doing it. I do really wish that we would get some more, some new Dick Tracy, because I dug the movie, and I dug the comics when I got to read some.
I remember liking the movie too, and then I watched it probably, I'm going to say 10 years ago. And
horrible.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put it this way. Madonna was the lead actress.
Yeah.
Just going to put that out there. But yeah, good for you, Warren Beatty.
Argentina.
That's too soon, dude. No. You know what? That's what happens when you look to the stars. Speaking of looking to the stars, the James Webb Space Telescope has found 6 new galaxies, and they're universe breakers, and they're appearing much larger than what scientists thought was possible at the time. This is kind of crazy and changes everything about the Big Bang and everything else, and scientists are kind of going insane about it. I need you to do me a favor though and take over for and just say anything you like.
Yeah, I got some stories here. So we talked about Cocaine Bear a few times and opened this weekend. I went and saw it. That's going to be my review next time. But already Cocaine Bear is getting its own Funko Pop. And it's also spawned a whole new genre of movies, and I can see this just taking off running, because already in the works we have Attack of the Meth Gator coming. I mean, Cocaine Bear, Attack of the Meth Gator.
I saw this, and I was like, oh my God. And the funniest thing is, because that's coming out, but they were doing an interview with one of the actors or actresses from Cocaine Bear, and they're like, oh, we can just keep this going. We can do Meth Gator. And they started naming all this stuff. And then, of course, there's already a Meth Gator that's in the works. And I think in post-production.
Yeah.
Will it be better than Velocipaster?
I'll watch it.
I know you will. It's nothing
Oh my God. I watched, what did I watch last week? Do you remember the movie Night of the Creeps?
Oh my God. I remember the name.
it was basically like something came from space, and they were like these little like leech type characters. They would go into you, use you as the host while they gestate, and turn into like a zombie like creature being controlled by them until they are done with the body. They bust open, and then there's a whole bunch more, and it just keeps like spreading through the town. It had the guy from Halloween 3 in it, and one of the Rusties, the Rusty from European Vacation.
Fucking wasn't. Oh no, it was. So it was the only one that wasn't cool. The only one that didn't have a career afterwards.
He wasn't cool in this either.
So it wasn't. Oh, Michael Anthony Hall.
No.
Rusty, and it wasn't David Galecki.
No.
From Big Bang Theory.
No, so and it wasn't the kid from Vegas.
Oh right. Yeah, that kid. Yeah. Okay, so there's 2 not cool ones. No, I'm kidding. That he had some stuff too.
He's had some pretty good movies.
Yeah. But I was surprised to see him in that movie though as Rusty though, because I was like, he's already old at this point. But I guess so is Chevy. And
I just love that long running gag, Russ.
I think I watched it once. I don't think I watched it all the way through Vegas Vacation. Anyways, so we talked about James Webb. We talked about that your story there that I forgot already. But what we didn't talk about was
you're on meth.
That's right, the meth. That was one of my stories later, so I'm gonna have to drop it. No. Prequels though, dude. We got some more prequels coming our way. And now we are getting a Welcome to Derry series on HBO Max, which is going to be a prequel. No word yet on whether Skarsgård will be back to play Pennywise. I just don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen the new It yet. I watched the old one when I was a kid, but this one looked a lot scarier than the one when we were kids.
Yeah, I really like the first half. Part 2,
Well, part 2 I heard was they were just going for the jump scares. Yeah, so I don't know. I'd say I'd watch it, but probably not. Go ahead.
Have you watched? Did you watch Yellow? I can't remember if I asked you. Did you watch Yellow Jacket season 1?
I didn't. I watched the first episode. I really liked it. And then I don't know why I didn't finish it.
Yeah, season 2 comes out March 26th, and there's an immersive experience. I'm like, what are they gonna do? Hunt people? But at the South by Southwest Festival in Austin for 3 days, you can do the Yellow Jackets experience.
No thanks. Thank you. They added Elijah
Wood in the game,
right? They added Elijah Wood to season 2 as well.
Oh, right.
A prominent role, so we'll wait to see. He's not the only one that's been added to a cast. Umbrella Academy. Have you watched that at all?
I didn't. I remember my boss telling me he really liked it.
Yeah, I like it. I don't really like it, but I like it. And I didn't watch the last season yet. I will watch it though. But season 4, they've got some announcements for cast joining, and we've got a husband and wife in real life joining the cast. We've got Nick Offerman and his wife Megan Mullally. Megan Offerman. No, I'm just kidding. Also joining David Cross, and they will be joining the 4th and final season of the Umbrella Academy. So that should be good. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot to add this in here as well. Umbrella Academy is filmed Netflix Toronto, I believe, but new production company being put up in Ontario as well, and that's Ryan Reynolds is putting up his Maximum Effort production companies coming here, and I can't remember the exact city, but it's not far. Ryan Reynolds, someone you want to do the James Avery story?
Someone else is expanding. Did you see this story? Blumhouse is getting into the video game business.
Wow. You know what's funny? My very next story. Blumhouse Games, and you know who's going to be happy about that is going to be Luke Duff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not, man? They're forgive the pun, but they're killing it with
Yeah,
everything else.
they said they're not going to cheap out either. They said they're going to they earmarked like around $10 million budgets for these games. So,
well, they've surprised, I think, even themselves with the amount of money they've made off of their movies and shows and stuff. Who heads up Blumhouse? Do you know?
Jason Blum.
Wait, like from Arrested Development?
No.
Sorry. Speaking of horrible, Tom Hardy said that production on Venom 3 has started. Listen, I liked Venom 1 because everybody talked about how shitty it was. So I had such low expectations. When I watched it, I forgave a lot of the bad shit that's in that movie because it is not a great movie, really. Then when Maximum Carnage came out, the second one, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. This movie does blow and it's not right. They should have let Marvel handle it from day one. But yeah, I mean, I'm me, so I'll watch it.
I actually didn't know there was a part 2 when I saw this story.
Really?
Yeah.
The one with Woody Harrelson as Carnage?
Okay, maybe I didn't know there was a part 2.
Yeah, he plays Carnage.
Right.
The symbiote attaches itself to a psychotic fucking serial killer of the fucking highest degree. The best thing that I could compare Cletus Cassidy, who's Carnage, the closest thing I could relate him to is Mickey from Mickey and Mallory from Natural Born Killers. So when at the end of Venom 1, we saw him in the end credit scene as Carnage, I was like, oh, fuck. This is going to be dope. And it wasn't. It's so...
Yeah,
they should have had Oliver...
I do remember
Oh, my God. Have Oliver Stone do a Marvel movie, please. Please have Oliver Stone do a Marvel movie. That would actually be pretty fucking awesome. Interested to see where they take Umbrella Academy. Kurt, like I said, I haven't seen season 3, so I'd have to find out. How are 3 of those a good idea? 3 of what? What are we on again? I'm not even stoned.
3 Venom movies.
Oh, 3 Venom movies. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Steve.
Complete trilogy.
But you have to finish the trilogy. That's it. It's the trifecta of suck, yes. If you do put out 2 movies and they make a certain amount of money, you have to put out a 3rd. Just doesn't make sense not to. If not, then 20 years from now, we have to have that 3rd movie, and it's never as good. So, did you hear the news? Thunderbolts. There's a movie Thunderbolts in the MCU, which is basically a bunch of villains that are hired by the government to do government work for them that they can't have heroes do. Kind of like the Suicide Squad, but for Marvel. Their most notable members are the U.S. Agent, Bucky Barnes, Baron Zemo. They're doing that movie, and it was having Harrison Ford playing, he's playing Thunderbolt Ross. He's going to be the president. I forget his name, who passed away that played the role originally, though. I always mix him up with Ed Begley Jr., and it's not Ed Begley Jr. It's the other William Hurt. Right, though? You see it, though, right? William Begley Jr. and William Hurt. I'm just saying, tall blondes. You all look the same, Steve. But in this Thunderbolts movie, they had to drop Ghost. Ghost was in the original. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second movie. She was supposed to be in this movie. They dropped her. And they've added a new actor. We don't know who he's playing yet. But Stephen Young from The Walking Dead and, of course, from Invincible has joined the cast. We don't know who he's playing. But if we're going by The Walking Dead and his last scene there, I would think maybe he's one of the X-Men. Maybe he's playing Cyclops.
Too soon.
Wait. You can't get mad at me for that, folks, okay? He's a fictional character. He's a fictional character. I don't care. I'm not even a little bit sorry. Speaking of other characters joining new franchises, we're getting a Lilo and Stitch live action movie. Did you know that?
I did hear this.
And I don't know who he's playing, but they just cast Zach Galifianakis. And I want him to be a live action version of Stitch. Not a CGI. I want him to be painted blue with prosthetic ears on. Shut up. Tell me that's not awesome. I want him to sit in makeup for 8 hours a day to have him look like Stitch and then go out there and play Stitch.
Yeah, but then, much like the outcry you have over white chicks, the blue people are going to get pissed off. Why don't we have a blue person playing
Listen, white chicks is horrible. For so many reasons. Yeah, well, I mean, whatever. If they're gonna do a live action Lilo and Stitch, though, Stitch will be CG, and it'll probably be Zach doing the voice. That's my guess. I really hope they.
Either that or get Andy Serkis.
I mean, he's the dude. He's the dude. I know you're not a comic book fan, so this is just for the comic book nerds out there like myself. When my son was born, a new comic book series had come out. Marvel was like, "Hey, listen, we've had all these characters going from the 50s and 60s that have never changed. We've always kept the same story. Let's retell everything from 2000 with a new kind of view on it." So, in the old school, Spider-Man was bitten by a radioactive spider. X-Men were children of the atom because of the atom bomb and stuff like that, right? They're like, okay, let's modernize it. So Spider-Man was bit by a genetically engineered spider instead of, a radioactive spider. And the X-Men, they were just mutant. They were government created mutants. This is their new line that was called the Ultimate Universe. This is what the MCU is heavily, heavily based on. And the Ultimate Universe was badass. I bought the Spider-Man comics for my kid because I'm like, oh, when he gets older, I'm going to have him get into comic books. These were so adult, it was not funny. Ant-Man and Wasp have such an abusive relationship. At one point, Ant-Man is so mad at Wasp, he whacks her, she shrinks down, he sprays her with bug spray, and then vacuums her up. Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch that are twins are lovers in this. No. And I'm not saying like they're boyfriend and girl. They are boyfriend and girl. They're still twins. They're still twins.
Is their last name Lannister?
No, but they were born in Dunville. That's just an inside joke for us.
And we just lost all one viewer in Dunville.
We lost all. Well, really, they stopped watching once they saw the closed captioning.
I hope Hart's watching.
Me too. It looks good on an Ohio fan, dude. My favorite moment though from the Ultimates is this moment when Captain America is fighting a Skrull or a Chitauri, which is basically the Skrulls, and the guy's like, "Oh, you must surrender, Steve Rogers." And fucking Captain America gets his shield, stabs dude. Like, this Captain America is fucking brutal. If I was ever to suggest a comic book for you, it would be this line because it is fucking brutal. But he fucking stabs this fucking alien through the chest and says this: "Surrender, surrender. Does this A look like it stands for France?" Yeah. That's where we got the black Nick Fury from, because if you remember David Hasselhoff, that's what the original Nick Fury looked like. White dude, right? But they changed it in the Ultimate Universe. And the whole thing was great. I mentioned the Wasp and Hank Ant-Man thing. This is it. Him spraying her with the bug spray. And then going to grab the vacuum. It was a messed up storyline, and Marvel is bringing it back, and I'm very happy about it, as you can tell. Easy, Steve. Our cousins in Dunville will hear that. I remember going to a huge outdoor hippie rave festival in the old Dunville airport.
Well, they have the annual Mudcat Festival there every year.
Yeah. Because Mudcat is what everybody wants to be fishing for.
That's no joke.
Is Mudcat a fish? Yeah, right? Yeah. New Spider-Man. He's an Aussie and gets his powers from being jumped by a gang of radioactive spiders because Australia. I mean, that. Well, are you saying Australia or are you saying Austria?
I mean, that would probably be genetically enhanced.
Right. My last story that I've got for the night is are you a fan of boxing at all, Steve?
I still will watch boxing, yeah. So
are you going to be watching this tomorrow night?
I don't do the gimmick fights anymore.
Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. The first time that Jake Paul is going to fight an actual boxer. Tommy Fury, though, this is what I've never liked about boxing, and I don't care. I don't care that I love wrestling, and I know that it's predetermined. Boxing's more predetermined. And I will say, maybe it's not more predetermined, but it's almost as predetermined. Because when you're making your name as a boxer, if you're one of the good boxers, you only fight guys that you know you can beat. So when you get up to like 25-0, you fought guys that have never won a fucking fight and never won a fight after you. Like I've just never liked that about boxing. And then once they get to the top and then they have to fight someone that's equally as good as they are, then they get knocked down a peg or two. So I've just never been a fan, but I'm not going to lie. I will probably watch this gimmick fight.
Yeah, ever since the Mayweather, and then what's that D-bag's name from UFC? Conor McGregor. Ever since that gimmick, I was like, no more gimmick fights for me. That's it.
Well, so I watched Jake Paul's last fight against Anderson Silva, and I was like, oh, this better not be a gimmick fight. And that was a fight. Now, he beat Silva, who's my all-time favorite UFC fighter. But he's a UFC fighter. He's not a boxer. He is known for his kicks and for throwing some of the best kicks of all time. He's gotten guys with his quick jab, but he's gotten guys that aren't boxers with his quick jab. To me, it'll be interesting to see if Jake Paul can actually hold his own against Fury. Fury is built like a brick shithouse, but like I said, the guys he fights might as well be the same guys that Jake Paul's fought. So he's basically beat guys like you and I at our age. Not saying a lot. And that's not us calling you out either. And if you want to fight, give Wellandwingnut a call. But that's it. And the picture as well.
I'm like Kevin James from Grown Ups. I got about 5 seconds of fighting left in my life, and I'm saving that for like vacation or something.
Right, for when I die. But will you pay for it? Will I pay for a Jake Paul fight? I mean, if you mean by paying for it with I wasted my time on it, no. I mean, even if I didn't have a sponsor that gave me free TV where I get free pay-per-views and stuff, I probably still would. If I was going to watch it, I would watch it on the same sites that I watch wrestling. Sorry, WWE. That's what I got. Before we go, I should hit our last. I did hit our one TikToker there, right?
Yep.
Saved by the Bell. This last one. Why I added two? This one's for you. This one is for my friend, the Wellandwingnut birthday gift.
That's not orthodox, Anakin. Where did she learn that technique?
All right. Whenever I couldn't be arsed to train her, Roger Federer would step in.
It is a beautiful forehand.
Poetic, even.
There aren't many Jedi left.
Oh, and I can't remember why.
Polio?
No, I guess it was like polio in that... No, it wasn't polio. It was Anakin.
Anakin gave them all polio.
No, just forget the polio. Well, I am glad that she's doing well. Scratching a living on some planet with, like, no leaves. She looks well rested. She's got a tan. It's not a tan. She's orange. Oh, I always thought it was fake tan.
Yeah, for my Star Wars buddy there. And a little bit for me because I'm an Ahsoka guy.
We're starting to see a lot more orange people in the world. I never knew they existed either. So
that was almost
years ago.
Literally, I had Trump on my list. I literally had Trump on my top 5 list. I had to take him off. Did you have something you took off that you can think of offhand?
Yeah, the dime bag thing was one I took off just because, like I said, I traded it with Rock versus Hogan because I was actually there. So it was a pretty. Yeah. It's way more memorable.
I had what was it? 1989, 1990. The Wall concert. Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, around the same time.
Walters and Sinead O'Connor and everybody.
Yeah. From around the same time period, I almost put Ryan White on there on the list too because that was like the first time the public woke up and thought, oh, geez, not just drug addicts and gay guys are getting AIDS, right? It's this poor kid got through a blood transfusion. Like this shit is real. Even Reagan, finally.
That's where it all started. No, I won't get started. I won't get started. I had the Exxon Valdez on there. That was a big one for me. I remember those Dove commercials afterwards, and they're washing all the animals off, the oil off the animals. I had Tupac and Biggie. Those were big ones for me. Right when I really started getting into hip hop.
The world being flat.
I mean, but is that a certain time or just a thing? Like,
I didn't know that was a thing up until 15, 20 years ago.
Like for me, I would have chosen the moment where the head of the Flat Earth Society built his own rocket and tried to go into outer space and crashed. And I also had Lady Diana on there, or Princess Diana, and Kobe. And I know Kobe Bryant's a relatively new thing, but man, that was what was it? 9 people in total? Him, his daughter. Him, his daughter, and 7 other people. And like, what was it? 4 of them kids all lost their lives on that. So, and to me, like Kobe Bryant, I think is my all-time favorite basketball player. I know you're not a huge basketball guy, but I've always loved basketball, and I was a big Bad Boys fan back in the 80s and 90s for the Pistons. Then I was a Magic fan when Shaq and Penny came out. And then when Kobe came away, that guy just blew. I'm like, here's a Michael Jordan that I like because he's just a fucking assassin. No smiles, no nothing. My favorite Kobe Bryant story, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you or I mentioned it somewhere, but Kobe Bryant, I forget who the fuck they were playing, but they were chirping him before the game and gets the first possession right in front of the fucking opposing team's bench, sinks a fucking shot, looks over, 48. Comes back up, sinks another one, 46. And fucking counts down 50 points on them. To me, that is the most cold. The only thing that I saw that was even more cold-blooded in basketball than that was when Michael, and it wasn't even more cold-blooded because it wasn't more cold-blooded. But at the time, the most cold-blooded thing was Michael Jordan Dikembe Mutombo, where Michael's at the line. He got fouled. He's at the line. He's like, shoot it with my eyes closed. And he shoots 2 fucking free throws with his eyes closed in a fucking game. Not in a preseason game, in a regular season game. Like, that's just cold-hearted, man. Y2K. Y2K was big, too. That almost made my list. Sinead,
you mentioned Princess Diana. I don't really remember where I was when I heard that she had died, but I remember watching her wedding on TV because I remember my parents watching it, and that was back when we only had the one TV.
Right. Did your parents record it?
I don't know if they recorded it, but yeah, my mom was big into the Royals and stuff like that. So yeah, and my dad would watch anything that's headline news.
Fair. Steve Grows Wheat says the Katie Vick storyline was a moment in time. I don't know that story. I'm not familiar with that. What's the Katie Vick storyline? I'm gonna have to let us know. But yeah, there were a ton of big moments over the course of our lifetime, our 47 years. And I mean, it's so hard. Like,
half a century, man.
I hate you. It's okay though. It's okay. 47 in black years is 32 in white years, so I'm all right. I'm still younger than you that way. I'm just gonna keep that. I'm just holding on long enough here just to see if Steve's gonna comment again before we sign off.
This summer, 21 years from the last time I was in a Pantera mosh pit. I'm doing it again at the ripe old age of 47. So,
what do you think? And do you feel confident with this, or?
Yeah, last mosh pit I was in, I think was I'm gonna say, I think I've been in one since, but I can't remember. That body count was probably about 8 years ago.
Oh,
I was like 40.
Shit,
and that was pretty rough.
Well, you're old.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. Oh, Triple H fake screwed a corpse pretending to be Kane. So this was the one period in time in wrestling I was not watching. You can ask Steve or anybody else. If you ask anyone that knows me, they'll be like, "Oh, he's watched wrestling his entire life." There was like a 3 to 4 year period of wrestling I didn't watch. That was that because I've never seen that part. While Steve was telling while the Wingnut was telling us his story there, I was actually Googling it and I'm looking it up and I'm like, I don't even see it, but it comes up as WWE's worst storyline ever. So,
and it's not Mae Young's hand.
What's that?
It's not Mae Young's hand,
right? Lil Yachty's mosh pit was nuts at Rolling Loud. I see, Jordan. You're younger than we are, man. So I'm not too sure who Lil Yachty is. And was it a real mosh pit? Would Steve consider it a mosh pit?
So I actually went to that body count show by myself, and within 5 minutes of being there, ran into people I knew. But when body count came on, I was in there throwing full on elbows, fists, and I come out of the mosh pit for a couple songs, and my buddy says to me, he goes, there's probably at least 3 guys in that mosh pit right now that want to fight you.
Fight you, yeah.
People are like, dude, what's your problem? I said, this is a fucking mosh pit. This is body count. Fucking, I've been listening to these guys since 1991.
Body count in the house. Get on board or get run over is what it is. Steve would put us Gen Zs to shame. Yeah, man. I'm old, fat, and out of shape, and I think I would too. And I'm not a mosh pit guy. I mean, I mosh pitted it. I would mosh pit at our teen dances when they would play The Cure and not The Cure, The Cult.
Oh, yeah, slam dance.
Yeah, slam
dance. That's what originated. Yeah.
Yeah, we would slam dance. So there would be. So if you ever see for the Gen Zers, you'll see movies and they'll show the dance pit where everyone circles off and show 2 guys dancing. We had a mosh pit, so it was that circle, but it was like 12 people in there. It was always more than
throwing your bodies into each other.
Yeah, throwing your bodies. I didn't go into too many of them because at that time mosh pits were predominantly white dudes with Doc Marten shoes that had white laces on them, which meant black guys, we just stayed on the outside because those Doc Martens were coming at us.
I can't tell you how many times I've been kicked in the face by a body surfer.
Yeah, that's different. I have no problem being kicked in the face on accident by a body surfer or something like that in the heat of the moment. Mosh pit, there's people aiming for me
Yeah.
at that era. At that era,
for sure.
Gen X for life. Yeah, like legit. Shit.
Yeah, it's funny. So I was at it was an Ozfest, I think. It was at Darien Lake, and Iron Maiden was on right before Black Sabbath. It was during that short Black Sabbath reunion there in the early 2000s. And there was these kids on the lawn moshing to Iron Maiden. I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck's going on here? I'm like, I was like 28, 29.
Do it.
And this guy, he was probably 35, closer to 40 at the time, and he's looking at me. We're kind of getting bumped by these kids. And he's like, geez, he's like, you just want to come to a concert and just, watch me? He's like, what the fuck are these kids doing? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but it sure does look fun, doesn't it? And I took my shirt off, and I got in there for like a song or two, and I come out, and I was doubled over, and I'm trying to catch my breath, and the guy looks at me and goes, you're fucking nuts.
How many times have you heard that phrase in your lifetime? Directed at you.
If I had a nickel.
I got kicked by a body surfer with cowboy boots on.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't go to the same concerts as you guys. Like the biggest, I think the closest I got to that was, oh my God, Hamilton. And I don't even think there was a mosh pit, but it just everybody was rowdy, and it was, I want to say it was Zombie, Alice Cooper. No, Zombie and Ozzy. Was that in Cops Coliseum?
I'm not sure.
Oh, I feel like I went to that one with fucking James Takeo. Where I drove him to that one, and we had separate entrances. I think that's actually what it was. But yeah.
No, I've been in some rough ones. Probably one of the worst pits I've ever actually been in. And I don't know what it was about that venue, because two of the worst mosh pits I've ever been in were both at the same venue. It was the old Varsity Arena in Toronto, and Offspring and Rage Against the Machine, probably both around the same time, 93, 94. There was people getting carried out on stretchers.
Yeah, see, I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life. Even back then when I was in shape, I was just like, nah, man, I'm good. Yeah. This shit's too pretty. I ain't doing that shit. No. Lollapalooza, Canada's Wonderland. Yeah.
Man,
or even any of the Edge Fest. Well, Edge Fest were kind of like the fake Lollapalooza, though, almost.
Right. It was Canadian.
They were Lollapalooza light.
Yeah. I remember being at Molson Park for, I'm going to say it was either Cypress Hill or maybe Hole had just taken the stage, because they were on right after Cypress Hill. We watched like 3 songs, and then we got out of there. Sonic Youth was headlining. But yeah, there was this girl in the mosh pit. She had this huge backpack on, and I'm telling you, she was maybe 5'2", 5'3", just in there, just bulldogging people. And I was like, that's awesome.
She was from Welland.
Totally from
she went to
Welland.
Plymouth. She was a Plymouth kid. It was Amy McIntyre. Listen, if there was anybody we went to school with that could have ruled a fucking mosh pit, it was Amy McIntyre.
Carrie Wilcox.
Yeah. I like Carrie, though. She was not that I didn't like Amy, but I always thought of Carrie as kind of like a sweet, wholesome girl, but I didn't know her after grade 6.
I remember her throwing a few punches, though.
Well, I mean, that was the Wilcox way. And if you guys are watching, we love you all.
We do.
Scott, Shelley, Carrie. Great family, though.
We're talking about 47 years.
Dude, I will always legit. Anytime anyone mentions E.T. to me, I always think of Carrie Wilcox, because we were sitting beside each other grade 1 or 2 when they showed it at Plymouth. Remember, the entire school was there in the gymnasium. I don't know if you were there for that.
Yeah, I remember that.
But they showed E.T. And when E.T. died, she bawled her fucking eyes out. And I just remember like being right beside her and being like, it's okay. And then the teacher coming over and consoling her and shit. And yeah, that's good times. Good times. We're old. Oh my goodness. I went to a lot of Edge Fest concerts. My favorite, though, was Nickelback at Molson Park. You need to leave. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so kidding. Steve loves Nickelback.
I was not a huge fan. There's definitely a couple songs that I did really like, and I remember taking Amber to see them in Hamilton. A friend had extra tickets and an extra spot in a limo, so we went, and they put on one hell of a show.
Yeah, you say that all the time. You talk about how great they're.
Their
Like you said, they're one of the best rock shows you've seen, though, right?
One of the best rock shows I've seen, definitely.
What? E.T. dies? So I read that at first, like, what? As in, like, et tu, Brute?
And if anybody from the Canadian or U.S. government's watching, stop shooting down his ride.
Stop. E.T. would be home already if you stop shooting these balloons down. I want to see Cake, and they got booed off the stage.
Oh, yeah, I would have liked to seen Cake back in the day.
Cake was the all-female punk band?
No, not all female. No, I don't know if this is who you're thinking of, but actually, a band I saw, one of the shows I was talking about, Offspring. The band that opened up was the Lunatics.
Oh no, I never.
And one of the girls in the Lunatics, she was actually one of the original members of the Beastie Boys.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Wait, were they called the Beastie Boys and Girl?
No, but I'm pretty sure she was the original drummer. If I may stand corrected, but I'm going to say she was the original drummer.
Sure. And I agree with Steve. Nickelback was an amazing live show.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, man.
Yeah, like Pyro's like kiss worthy.
Damn. Well, I mean, but that isn't always.
As far as show, I'm not talking about the music. I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
Show.
I don't know that always kills though. So
yeah.
The second concert I ever went to was Bon Jovi and Skid Row, and this was at the height of Bon Jovi. And this was at the point where nobody knew who Skid Row was. Like, we didn't know. We were like, who the fuck is this Skid Row? And we were huge into music at that point. And Skid Row came out. They had pyrotechnics, and basically that was it. And Bon Jovi came out afterwards. John Bon Jovi ran across the stage. They were filming a fucking video for I'll Be There For You, and pyrotechnics and everything you would expect. And Skid Row blew them off the fucking stage. Off the stage. And I had and I'm not a music guy like you are. So if I don't know the songs ahead of time, I'm like, I didn't know one fucking song. And I was like, oh my God, this is I think I bought a Skid Row album the next fucking day.
That was it was a friend had won tickets, and I knew both bands, but only really knew the one, and that's why I was going to go see them. And it was Theory of a Dead Man. And Three Doors Down was opening up. And it was a small club in Toronto. It's only like 1,000 people. And Three Doors Down was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And like 3 songs into Theory of a Dead Man, I was like, let's go. I'm like,
but them and Nickelback all sound the same to me. Like, I could literally mix them up and be like, oh shit. Like Nickelback, I'll know a little bit more because I'm more familiar with. Like Chad Kroeger's voice is more distinct than the other two, but the other two are like, oh, I couldn't tell you which. To this day, I can't tell you which band is which.
But yeah, talking about the pyro thing too. I remember. Do you remember the Great White? There was the fire in the club and down in the States, and all those people got trapped and died. They basically trampled trying to get out the one.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So this was probably within a month of that club fire where like 30-something people died from a pyrotechnic catching fire. And me and Jay Hart, we were at Limp Bizkit in Toronto, and they had these massive fireballs going up into the sky and dissipating. And one went so high it actually caught the canvassing over top of the lights and started fire. And I'm looking at this, and Hart looks at me, and he sees me looking at it. And now we're both everybody's watching the concert. Me and him are looking at this. He looks at me, he goes, that thing catches fire. Which way are we going? I said, towards the stage, because all these dumb motherfuckers are going to be going for the exits. That's how people die.
Same way as the fucking band's going. That's right. Got the right exit.
It ended up, it must have been fire retardant because it had eventually just dissipated. But, oh, man.
Fuck, man. That's crazy. Chad says, my first concert was B.B. King, Buddy Guy, and Susan Tedeschi as the opener at Molson Theater. I'm a huge B.B. King fan, but Buddy Guy fucking killed it. Dude, that's a fucking legendary concert. I don't know who Susan Tedeschi is.
I'm not familiar either, but definitely
the other two are fucking legends. Steve Roseweed says, ironically, live, is a shitty band to watch live.
You know what? I saw them with Collective Soul in Toronto, and they were pretty good.
I feel like I've seen them with Dinosaur Jr. somewhere. Or maybe it was just Dinosaur Jr. and I just always mix them up with live. Really, though. They had what? One good song, Dinosaur Jr.?
Yeah.
See you standing there, cut up in a wall. I hate to smash your pretty face against the fucking wall. Yeah, I wonder why they didn't last. Susan Tedeschi is married to Derek Trucks. Oh my God, not Derek. Who the fuck is Derek Trucks? Who's that?
You had me. I'm like, oh my God, he knows who Derek Trucks is. I have no clue who this guy is.
I don't fucking know who that is. And amazing slide guitar player. Oh, you still don't know. I know what a slide guitar is, though. You slide it. Anyways, that's all I got. What you got for you? Got anything else, buddy?
That's it, man.
The rest of this fireball soon. So that's happening. Anything else?
No, I mean I can try and make a fireball for everyone.
No, please don't. I gotta pee.
Speaking of pyrotechnics.
Oh my God, I haven't done that since I was a kid. Awesome. You got anything going on this week, buddy?
Nothing. I might try and make it to the movies and see Scream. I guess I'll do Cocaine Bear next show, but I'm gonna try and get out and see Scream. So this is the Cocaine Bear. That was the first movie first time I went to the theater. We went once since the pandemic started, and I can't remember what the movie was, but yeah, well, a long time running since I've actually been in a theater. So. And for anyone local, if you haven't heard the news, Canview Drive-In changing their name to, I believe it's Skyway Drive-In. But yeah, they're looking to hire cooks, attendees, and cashiers and stuff like that. So if you're in the area, you know someone needs a job, check out Skyway Drive-In. Very excited for them to be opening up in the spring. Get back to the drive-in. I know it's a chain. It used to be privately owned, so I'm expecting a price increase. But I mean, still, if you're paying under $30, you're getting 2 movies. I'm sure the concessions are probably what you can hit. But go out and support your local drive-in.
Yeah, and I'm so happy they're actually doing that, not just taking the land and putting up townhouses or something.
Right.
It's the last thing we need is more townhouses in our little city. Yeah, man, I'm stoked for that. When does it open? Sorry.
I've got to be soon because, like I said, they just posted up for jobs. So,
right on. Well, I'm hoping. I haven't been there. I wasn't there last year. What was it like? Is it still really hard to see dark movies?
So they put in. They got updated equipment. I'm gonna say 4 or 5 years ago, and it definitely is an improvement. But I mean, depending on the film.
Yeah. If it's a superhero movie, you're out of luck. If it's a Marvel movie, you can see it. If it's a DC movie, you ain't seen shit. Plain and simple. Saw Event Horizon there when it came out, and it's still one of my favorite movies. Why am I the one person that doesn't find that as a horror movie? Is it because I'm a science, like because I love science?
Thriller.
What's that?
Sci-fi thriller, I think.
Thriller for sure. But I see a lot of people put that near the top of their list of scariest movies of all time, like for horror movies. And I've never seen it as a horror. I just see it as a science movie. Science gone wrong. Kind of, I don't know. I was going to say something that was inappropriate, so we'll just leave that be. I was going to say something inappropriate, but I think she just walked in the room. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Facebook user. I love you. They did Shining Blood thing as a science thing. Wait, they did the Shining Blood thing as a science thing on a spaceship. Oh, yeah. No. Totally. So he's saying Event Horizon is basically The Shining on a spaceship.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I see that now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually, wow, that's a very good comparison. I like that. I should watch that again soon, though. I wonder if I'd be scared to watch it now. I haven't watched it. Red Rum, Lawrence Fishburne. That's it. That's all I got. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed yourselves today. We stretched this out almost 2 hours somehow. We did that because Steve could really buy us some time when I was using the bathroom.
I debated going before we started.
Right.
I usually do.
Most blood used outside of a Guar concert, which Steve has been to a Guar concert.
Yeah, I can attest.
Just one, though, right?
Just once, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. With Odorous Ungress at the lead.
Before he passed.
Rest in peace.
Or pieces, because it's Guar, so who knows? All right. Well, buddy.
He's up there on the planet Scumdog.
What's that?
He's up there on the planet Scumdog, living his best life, afterlife.
Are they like Scientologists?
No, but they have their own backstory and they're intergalactic space travelers and
so
kind of like the human race.
Kind of like Scientologists, then. Just like it. The makeup's the same.
And he's got that huge penis that he's always putting in people's faces. We almost made it.
Me Too happened way too late.
We almost made it.
We almost made it. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a good time. I hope you were definitely entertained like I was. And yeah, this was a pretty good on the fly, off the cuff kind of episode this week. Next week, we will start our March Geekness tournament. We got a lot of suggestions from you guys. We kind of dropped the ball on some of the stuff, so we will fill in the blanks on some of the stuff for you. But the tournament will start next week, and it will be good. And hope you guys had fun. Got anything to go out on, Steve? Well, there you go. For the Wellandwingnut, it's your boy Zeus. Hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you all next time. Peace.